I don't know.
So we are live and welcome to LASC's Open Mic, where we have a great time right here in Westwood. I am the director. If any people think you're funny, you probably are, because people tell you you're funny, you probably are, but you won't know until you take it from the page to the stage. That's right. You got to take it from the page to the stage, and that's why we're here. And so when you work with me, you'll get a 5 to 7 minute set, which will be recorded. You will be given your footage. When you're here, it's up to 10 minutes, $10. Your guests are $5. And it's very good to be seen doing your own material, by the way, as long as you're doing it. You can't do Paul Mooney's material, because everybody's going to know. Right. You can try, but I'm going to tell it. And what you need to do is be committed. Just be committed. Never insult this audience. Never say, for the 5 people that are here, they came. So be nice. There's nothing worse than somebody insulting you in the audience. You got insulted the other night. They made you stand up and show your body. Yeah. You had a Me Too moment, but it was with a guy.
I know.
And we all witnessed you flushing and blushing and thinking he's so cute.
That was the line, yeah. But
it was like he too.
It was a he too, right? It was a he too. It was a he too.
Yeah.
It was just a verbal abuse. Yeah.
That's why y'all got to bring back the bump. Maybe they can get my hip back.
Monkeypox bump. I don't know.
Monkeypox bump. Oh, please, please. Porch monkeys, monkeypox, monkey porch. I can't do it anymore. So I'm going to be going to New York, and I've got a lot going on. If you guys come here, just know that your producer, by the way, give a round of applause to producer Ryan Bennett, who's working very hard for you. Get a copy of your material, some way, shape, or form. You got to build up your chunks, okay? You start here. You get 5 to 7, then 7 to 10, 10 to 15. Boom, I got 15 minutes. I can open for you. I could drive for you. I could drive you there. You got to maneuver your way into someone else's life. And so I'm going to maneuver your host this evening, fresh from New York City, back from New York City. I'm sure he's still feeling the sweat and the grime, but nothing is as grimy as Santa Monica Boulevard, and we like it like that, dirty Jersey. Let's give it up for the comedy of the one and only Andre Abrahamian. There you go. There you go.
That's so kind of you, Sunda. I'm lucky to be your host tonight. I'm Andre Abrahamians. Yeah, let's give it up real quick. You're excited. We came out here. We came to have fun. We came to play. I love this crowd. We never get this kind of crowd here. As in, it's mostly men. So, yeah, it's the truth. But still, that's why we came, because we want to keep working out. So we're going to keep working out, but I'll tell you, I was in New York, and it was crazy over there. And I mean, it's so crazy that the homeless people have jobs too. You know, that's how good they are compared to LA. You know, it was like I saw a homeless guy. I was like, ah, and I was like, who is that? They're like, that's Rudy Giuliani. And I was like, oh man, ah. No, I loved it. I mean, you see 50 crazy things just going to the subway. I saw this guy. I saw a family of 4, these Germans, being held up at gunpoint by a rat. And I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm getting back at, I'm going to LaGuardia. But anyway, that's just a little warm-up. I want to bring on our first contestant, our first actor this time on the LA School of Comedy. Go ahead and give a warm hand of applause for Eli. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Didn't realize I was coming up so early. Wow. I suppose I'm accustomed to headlining this room. And this is a good room. Never been here before. Thank you all for being here. That was also a fun introduction. I've never been to a mic where someone gives like good industry advice right before you get up on stage. It's very effective. Also never been recorded. Hi, Mom. I'm sure you're watching. Hello. I used to live in New York as well. Moved to Los Angeles recently. It's good. I like LA. You get celebrity sightings in Los Angeles in a way that you don't in New York, you know. I had a pretty good celebrity sighting recently. I saw Stevie Wonder. You know.
Oh, okay.
I saw Stevie Wonder and a Benihana. She gets it. Food there, not that good. Stevie Wonder, I'm sure you guys all know, is blind. And I was looking over at him, and there was a woman next to him who was like, so now, Stevie, the chef is chopping an onion by throwing it in the air and catching it on the sharp side of a blade. And now creating a little volcano with a blue flame coming out of the top of it. And Stevie was like, great, what's blue? They throw shrimp at you at their restaurant, you know. Stevie, catch! I don't know. You familiar with the conspiracy theory that Stevie Wonder is not actually blind?
Yes.
Crazy conspiracy theory, you know, because there's one video of him like performing and he catches the music stand without looking and then he goes right back into it. What if he's not even black? That'd be a crazier conspiracy theory, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I just imagine the manager for him in the 80s was like, we got to capitalize on this Ray Charles money. It's not enough that you're going to pretend to be blind. I don't know. That's my Stevie Wonder material. I could do 9 more minutes on it. You guys aren't liking it. All right. You know, I'm a young man, you know. Interesting time to have grown up when I did, because I was part of the first generation to have grown up with internet pornography, but the last generation to have grown up with the practice of spanking your children. Anyone here spanked as a kid? Oh yeah. Bizarre. Can't believe we ever did it. But because I grew up in that weird little cross section, there was this one time where my dad caught me watching a video of a man spanking a lady and then having sex with her. My dad caught me and he spanked me. I was like, okay, Dad. I understand this whole eye for an eye business, but I am terrified about where this is headed. Also, shouldn't you have a pizza? Because at the very least, I should get pizza out of this. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. Punch me in the chest. Leave me my dignity. Why do you have to make it weird? Now I'm going to be into this someday. That's how it works. You know, like in Dog Style. You guys familiar with Dog Style? You might know it by a different name, Doggy Style.
Yeah.
I prefer to call it Dog Style. Much more accurate. You know, just so I get a sense. If you like Dog Style, let me get a woof woof.
Woof, woof.
Okay, and now if you like Missionary, let me get a praise God. Praise Jesus. Okay. You like it over there. You're praying morning, noon, and night. Okay. Yeah, I like Missionary. I don't really like Dog Style, you know. It's not my favorite of all of them. The reason is it's very clearly for the animal kingdom, you know. It's for animals concerned about predators, you know. She's like in a sprinter stance, like I'm like looking around for a mountain lion. She's like, hurry up back there, I gotta go home and gather. Or hunt. Women hunt. I don't want anyone coming up to me after the show being like, the false record is very clear. Women hunt. I know. As a matter of fact, I think if I were a caveman, I'd be a gather-at-home dad. Seriously. Be like, honey, here's your spear. I'll see you when the sky becomes haunted. My wife comes home, she's like, late. I'm like, where have you been? The caribou is cold. Oh, you're hungry? Why don't you help yourself to some nuts I foraged? I can smell the berries on your breath. I don't know. Do you guys ever think about the first person that ever told a joke? We come from a long line of weird people, you know, the comedians of the world. For a long time, it must have made no sense, you know? Like a caveman goes up to his friend, he's like, hey man, you know Big Mike? He's tiny. What? He's huge. We live in fear of him. No, you don't get it. Like, we should call him Tiny. You know what? You're gonna have to eat those leaves that make you fall asleep forever, dude, because you're crazy. They killed that guy, but now we get to do it at the LA School of Comedy. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about the environment. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been on the internet in the last year, but billionaires are building spaceships. Might be time to abandon ship. It's bizarre. We can't all go, obviously. I literally don't even fit in the capsule. I looked this up. This is true. You cannot be taller than 6 feet tall or weigh more than 175 pounds to even be allowed on the spaceship. Which means clearly these nerds have not forgotten about high school. They're like, sorry, bullies. Mars is ours. I don't know. Anyone here get bullied? It's an open mic. Come on. Of course, I was bullied too. What? Anyone bullied here for an interest? Like some like nerdy thing? Like what? What'd you get bullied? Theater. That's tough, man. I got bullied for a similar thing. I used to love to tap dance when I was a kid. Tap dancing, very uncool. Tap dancing is so uncool that if you like to tap dance, you get bullied by like the kid that fenced. Like that. You guys are laughing. It's not funny. I was forced to dance at sword point. It's not funny. I know I look like I'm a bully now, though. I have like a bully look. I could be a bully. I look like I could be a bully so much that I was cast to play the bully in an anti-bullying commercial. It was crazy. I show up, and they're like, there's no script. Figured you could just sort of improv it. I'm like, improv it? You mean to actually bully this other actor? I like figured you're a comedian. I'm like, I'm also a human being. I'm not gonna fucking do that. So the guy, I meet him, my co-star. He's like, look, I'm ginger. I'm gay. My parents are dead. I've heard it all. I'm like, I'm not gonna make fun of any of that stuff. By any chance, do you tap dance? He's like, tap dance? I'm not a fucking loser, dude. I'm like, whoa! You bullying me? Your parents are dead. I didn't do that. That didn't happen. I just said that right to my mom who's watching from home. Sorry, Mom. Nah, she's not watching. She's watching MSNBC, like, oh my god, I'm so angry. That's how my mom watches MSNBC every night. I don't know why people do it. It's like the opposite of what I wanted of my television experience. I'm like, oh my god. They're selling that useless piece of crap for like $100,000. I like to watch Antiques Roadshow. Meanwhile, my mom is just like, oh, Rudy Giuliani. Getting so mad. You're aging yourself, Mom. She's not here, is she? No. I have trouble sleeping. I didn't sleep last night because I have consistent nightmares. I'm a sufferer of nightmares. I have the same nightmare where I wake up in the middle of the night and there's a long man, in the corner of my room like that. A long man with a tight ass. It's very scary. I wake up and see him, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't move. So I went to the doctor, and I was like, I would like you to give me some medicine. He's like, melatonin? I'm like, maybe the stuff that killed Michael Jackson is more appropriate for my situation. And he was like, well, let's meet in the middle. I'm going to give you something called gabapentin. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's the 6th most prescribed medication in the country. They're throwing it at babies, I think. It is, I don't know if you know, it is a dog seizure medication, which is like humiliating. Like, he was like, you have to take it with peanut butter. I'm like, what? Weird. Because you lick and you lick and you lick, and then you finally get it down, and, I still have the nightmare, but now the man is just dressed like the mailman. I'm like, I try and run, I can't run. It's a dog nightmare, Joe. Anyone ever tried to get a prescription for Adderall? Yeah. That's a good one. You're a young person.
It didn't work.
I tried to go too, and I show up and they make you play this game to make sure that you're not there for drugs, which I fully was. And they were like, basically the way the game works is you have to press the space bar every time a red dot appears in the center of the screen. And I'm like, okay, but something you guys should know about me is that I love drugs, but does not even come close to my love of winning. So for 10 minutes, I don't fucking miss, And eventually I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm here to like fuck this game up. So I like start missing. I'm like not even looking. I'm pressing the button with my elbow. Finally, like I go into the doctor and he's like, there's no easy way to say this, but it appears that you may have acquired ADD while here. Anyway, they didn't give me drugs. They gave me a whistle because they were like, you're going to get lost. Okay, anyway, I'm Eli. Thanks so much.
Where can we find you?
Oh, yeah, my Delicious Lloyd on Instagram, please.
Oh, give it up for your host.
Oh, hey, let's give it up for Eli. Real quick. That was great. And
didn't know we had a New Yorker in here. Man, would have talked more shit. You guys can take it. You guys are tough. And that was a great set, Eli.
Thank you.
All right. Talking about getting beat, my dad did kind of bring down the hammer on me growing up, man. It was, I don't think it's the end. I'll be honest. I really don't think. I think more people are going to still come to America and beat their kids. I really do. My dad came from Iran in 1976, 21 years old. Amazing man. Didn't speak English. He got 2 degrees. He worked so hard just for his son to be a comedian. So, but he, growing up, he taught you, he teaches you a lesson. Like, I don't know, white parents, they maybe spank you because they want you to learn. Or they don't even spank you. They say, go to your room and think about what you've done. Armenian parents, because I'm Armenian, will just spank you until you remember what happened. But it's okay, because the older I got a black belt. I got to take care of myself, and I was like, I got bigger than my dad, and my dad didn't like that. So I'd be like, oh, Andre, I'm not gonna hurt you. Relax. Come on, you're a grown man. Look at you now. And he sounds like Pepe Le Pew or the chef from Ratatouille. But he'd be like, Andre, relax. And then I'd let my guard down. Then he'd grab my neck, and he would just be like, okay, now where were you last night? And anyway. It made me more disciplined. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't beat your kids. Hi, Mom. Anyway, so we're going to keep the show rolling. I want to bring up a very funny comedian. She is fantastic. She got great energy. Give it up for the one and only Sam.
You know it's coming. It's gonna be great.
Thank you for that. I really appreciated that. Yeah, my name is Sam. As you can tell, I'm a genius. Yeah, I have ADHD as well. Yeah, I thought you were gonna be like, aw. No, it's so common. Everybody wants an acronym these days, LGBT, ADHD. And the person saying it, I'm like, babe, you have one. CUNT. Constantly, utterly, non-negotiably terrible. Self-identified cunt. Takes one to know one. Yeah, my high school, I went to a school in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. 6th to 12th grade, magnet school. Leonardo DiCaprio went there for a month. He left for some sort of career or something. And we recently had a vaping assembly. Not an anti-vaping assembly, a vaping assembly. And I really thought that they were going to be like, so guys, we know you're all vaping, so if you're going to vape, use Juul Light, 1% nicotine, 99% Prozac. That'd be dope, right? Like, we know kids are vaping. Let's give them a good, safe vape. But it was like depressing to watch because it's like with drinking, they show that like drinking and driving video, and it's like, this guy murders a whole family and it just, ruins his whole life. Like, nobody has vaped in the car and like passed out and killed someone. Like, they had no leverage. But this teacher still tried to make it about drunk driving. She was like, we didn't have vapes when we were your age. We had alcohol. Which we still do, but now we have Uber. I'm surprised we even still have drunk driving, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to compare statistics and see, how much drunk driving went down, because I'm a researching genius. Then we had a teacher come up who smokes cigarettes, and he comes up and he's like, I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 11 years old. Every time I get off a flight to see my mother, who knows the next time I'm gonna see her, she's old. The first thing I do, I don't call my mom, I smoke a goddamn cigarette, and then I smoke another one because I'm a fucking asshole. And then he goes, my wife is gonna bury me before her. And I'm like, have you tried vaping? Like, it's bad, but it's on cigarettes, it's cute, they smell good. Yeah. They put fluoride in the water. I think they need to put like Prozac in the bread. I think that a lot more people need it, and I'm okay with the government being involved in our lives because it's too late. You know what I mean? Everyone's so worried about if they find this out. We're talking about nudes getting leaked. It's like, by the time we're all famous, every single nude is going to be on the internet. I'm going to post my own nudes. I'm going to make sure it's a good one. I'm going to make sure it's edited. I'm going to make sure it's the best nude that anyone's ever seen. Do you guys know the app Hop Skip Drive?
No.
Good. It's an app
for children. It's an Uber for children. And it's supposed to be like safe or something, but like I'm 19 years old, so I guess a child. But when I approach an Uber, like I barely even check, you know what I mean? Because I'm a comedian, like I want a story. And I can just imagine like this little kid, like someone comes up and is like, your mommy sent me to drive you, and they would just get in, you know what I mean? So I find that really exciting. Yeah, I think it's really funny when old people are like, no one plays outside anymore. Like, it's not my fault that we live in the most polluted time ever. You know, environmentally, mentally, sociopolitically, sexually, everything is out there all the time. It's disgusting. I went to a podiatrist because I have this issue where I just bash into shit, you know, because I'm taller, but I also don't want to take up space because I'm a woman. And so I will like walk and I'm trying to like stay out of everyone's way, and I'm like, and then I just keep walking, and then I try to pretend that like the ingrown toenail's not there, and someone's like, why is your toe blue? And I'm like, fuck you, get glasses. So I was at the podiatrist, and the first thing I asked him obviously was, so why feet? And when he licked my toe, I knew why. No. He was like, no, that's infected, yeah. But, you know, like he's, you know, it's an intimate experience we're having. And so I asked him about his life, and he starts talking to me about the Vietnam War. Did not sound fun. I think if they had vapes, it would have been a little bit more of an exciting experience. This is a pro vaping, you know, and yeah, because I'm actually excited for Juul to get banned though, because I'm saving my old pods, and I'm gonna make $1 million, and then I'm gonna make my own rocket ship that allows for plus size people. That's crazy that you're saying that. That's crazy. Target doesn't even have a plus size men's section. What am I supposed to do on the morning of Father's Day? You know, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Make a really nice card that my dad will throw in my face later. In an argument, has that ever happened to you with a parent? We're arguing and he's like, well, you said this in my card. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking talk about arguments in a Father's Day card. I still want money. So he was talking to me, the podiatrist, and somehow hippies came up, probably about Vietnam, and he was like, there's no hippies anymore. There's no hippies like in San Francisco. It's just people shooting up heroin and shit in the streets. Mind you, I like had my hair like this, and I had a long skirt, and I'm being so nice. I'm talking to him about the Vietnam War. I'm like, I'm a hippie. Like, did you just assume my vibe? Like, what's going on? And I told him, I was like, so, sir, I don't want to offend, but I am going to get graphic here. We grew up with the internet. Like, we saw things we didn't want to see. Like, we could have, perchance, stumbled upon someone literally shitting in someone else's mouth. And we saw that. You know, that's out there. Like, he didn't grow up with 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Like, he doesn't know what we've been through. And so I think that older people need to work on a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know. One time I auditioned for a famous TV show. You might have heard of it. It's called Wipeout. I got them because I said, I was like, I wipe out every day, so I want to wipe out on national television. And I'm Nicole Byers' biggest fan. I'm not. But she's cool. But basically, me and my cousin auditioned, and we're like, we're cousins, we're queer, and we're here. And they told my cousin's transgender and queer, so they were like, yes, yes, like they were so excited to eat that shit up. And they told her, they're like, can you say yas? And I was like, fuck. And then she said it, and they're like, can you say it again, but like with more sass? And I was like, I love everyone. But basically we got like really deep into the wipeout process. And I was like going through it at the time. I'm not going through it anymore. I'm healed. I'm cured. Just kidding. I go to group therapy down the street. But I consider this my AA meeting. Like when I don't come enough, I'm like, fuck, shit's about to go downhill. You know what I mean? You guys are my support. You're my family. I just met you. You're my family. She's like, no, no. But they called me and they're like, listen, are you going to do it? And I told him like what was going on in my life and all this stuff. And he was like, you could have just said no. So I wiped out with Wipeout. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, yeah. I'm Sam. My Instagram is @SamLikeTBH. and good to see you guys.
All right, give it up for Sam. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Gotta find a way to put my kids in that school so they can learn to vape responsibly. We're gonna keep the show rolling. I like how things are moving. We got some couple new faces here tonight, so let's just jump right into it. Got this lovely lady over here. I want you to give a warm applause. It's the first time she's doing stand-up, so let's give her a nice warm round of applause for Shells. All right.
I'm probably like the smallest stand-up. Have you guys seen anybody shorter than me do stand-up?
No.
Honestly, I thought about that on the way here. I was like, wow, you're about to do stand-up. You're 4'11". I'm pretty sure you're Kevin Hart, but he's 5'3".
Oh, really?
So I could probably make it to like Guinness. I'm pretty sure. So this is my first time doing stand-up. So just know, thank you. Thank you. Just know if you don't laugh, you are contributing to my low self-esteem and possible suicide. So I just want you guys to know. Not to get dark or anything, but it gets darker. So I'm actually from here. I'm usually the only person in every room that's from Los Angeles. A couple of my friends that aren't from here, when they come here, they ask all these questions. They're like, I want to move here, but I'm just really scared of the earthquakes. And I'm like, it's a running theme with transplants. They're always concerned about the earthquake. I'm like, literally the ground shakes for like 2 minutes and then we go about our day. Like, we're so used to it. She's like, but what's the protocol? Like, what do you guys do? Like, I just want to make sure I'm there. I'm like, well, first we feel it shaking like really crazy. Then we run in a doorway. I said, then we check Twitter. Because is it an earthquake? Honestly, if people aren't tweeting about it, that's like literally how we find out there's an earthquake. Like, we scroll our feed, we're like, earthquake, earthquake. Okay, for sure, there's a fucking earthquake. But I have really bad insomnia. I don't take Galbatin or any type of medicine like that. I just Google weird random shit. Like, I'm at 2 a.m. and I'm like, was Walt Disney racist? Let's find out. So then I find a lot of racist shit about people from the past. So then I Googled something else. I'm like, I'm going to also check somebody else from the past. Let's check one of the presidents. So then I'm like, who else is racist? John Kennedy? No! He actually wasn't as racist. Walt Disney was more racist than him. You know what I mean? I was like, for sure Kennedy's racist, right? But they were like, no, Walt Disney was the worst. I found all this like weird shit about him. So I'm like, okay, who can I check next? I checked fucking Dr. Seuss. Oh. He's a terrible person. He was like cheating on his wife. Then the wife committed suicide. And then he got with the lady that he said he wasn't cheating on with. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible. So just know, if you ever read those books, he's racist as fuck. Speaking of racism, I like to talk about it because I'm black and that's what we do. So did you guys know, I don't know if you guys kept up with the blogs entertainment, but apparently Sesame Street, that's now Sesame Place, apparently that place is racist. Have you guys been keeping up with it? No. Okay, well, we won't talk about it then here. We'll talk about something else. Don't want it to get dark. We want you guys to know about it. You know, I want you guys to know about it. So I'll tell the story really quick. So there's these parades that go on with Sesame Place, and they've rebranded as well. They're not Sesame Street anymore. They're Sesame Place, which is weird. But out of all places to be racist, I mean, like, you know, you see like a MAGA hat, of course. You go to Orange County, absolutely. But Sesame Place, not really. So apparently these kids come by that are of other races and they don't wave at them. They just wave around them or they wave on the other side of them. So it became like this really, really, really big deal. And it made like all this news, all these headlines. And it's just out of all places you expect to do something like that, it's like Sesame Place? You know, like I grew up on Sesame Place. So now I'm just like, I don't really know how to feel about it, you know? So just in case you guys want to Google that when you get home. But I just kind of want to be transparent here before I close out. I am celibate. I've been celibate now for 8 months. You guys are clapping it up? Yeah, it wasn't a decision. It was more of a default. Apparently, waiting for a human is like old school. I talk to my friends, they're like, you're waiting for a man? We use the rose toy. And I'm like, what is that? That's like, I've never used a toy before. So they're like, you haven't used a toy before? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm waiting for like a person. They're like, oh, we don't do that anymore. Like, what? Like, apparently I'm not like a millennial woman of today because I'm like waiting for like a human to actually have sex with. That's like a old school thing. So they make fun of me. They're like, you've been going 8 months strong. Like, how long are you gonna go? And I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't really decide this. This wasn't a decision of mine. This was just kind of like a default. So I'm sitting here and I'm going on these dates and I'm telling men I'm celibate, and you know, after that point, I don't hear from them again. So thank you guys for listening to my stories. I'm Shells. You can follow me at Bombshell on Instagram. Thank you. Oh, that's right. That's right. The rules. I'm new here.
Is it underscore bombshell underscore?
It's Bombshell B0MBCHELL.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Give it up for our first time. Yeah.
You know what? Women are mean. I agree with you. Right? Right, ladies? I'm kidding, guys. Come on. But I do think there's a double standard, right? Like, without a doubt, you know? Like, you hear women talking about, be like, oh, I like a dick that has a curve in it. Or I like, you know, I want a man who's, you know, has strong, who's tall, he's got tight buttocks, and he has a job. And I'm like, ridiculous standards. But yeah, it's not like we can do that too, you know? We can be like, oh, I love myself a nice little flappy, you know, I've never been with a woman, I'll be honest. Anyway, I could do this forever, which is awful. But I want to give it up for, let's give it up for Shells real quick, because that was a lot of fun. Being honest, being true, and don't let anyone shame you in being celibate. I've been there, yeah, still there. Anyway, I want to give it up for this very talented performer. He's a singer, he's an actor, he's also your producer for tonight, so we're going to give it up for Orion.
Hello. First off, I'm just going to do some self-promotion for me. So yeah, I'm here. If you want your clips, hit me up. I can give you your videos and stuff. Costs a little money. You know, I got to survive. I'm a student, kind of. 21 years old, living the life. My average for, like, the age of people I fuck is now, I think, around, like, 40. It's okay, you know. It's like, it's way easier to get with people that are way older than you because, you know, their life's kind of gone down the drain. You know they want some of this. But I mean, you're talking about cocks and stuff. So I've been told a lot that I've got like the perfect cock. You know, like Goldilocks cock, not too big, not too small, just right, a little bit of a curve just to get in there. So I don't know. There's not much jokes there. I just want everyone to know that, so I feel better about myself and you feel worse about yourself. Yeah, I'm an actor. Because I just, you know, I hate my life and I want to recreate things. I'm into role play. If you didn't, that kind of makes sense. But I got booked for something tomorrow. So yeah, congratulate me, please. Thank you. Make me feel better about myself. It's like a court scene, so it's like fully fake. So it pretty much means almost all the ones you see on on TV are fake. So you'll see me in one of them. I've been booked in a few random things. I don't have an agent yet because I don't try too hard. A lot of the people around me, I'm a theater major, I have agents, and they're all doing stuff, and I'm just kind of like, I'm getting like hit up for porn stuff, and I'm not really looking forward to that. But my mom said, the one thing, do not become a porn star. The one thing she told me when I was like 16, so, not something you should talk to your kid about, but if you knew me, that'd be a good warning. But for me, we kind of think we might want to go for it. It really depends on how life goes. I've thought about if acting doesn't work out, military, but then if I get dishonorably discharged, then porn. So it's a good hierarchy, go from performer to military, just also to performer. So you keep it all in the line, but I've kind of determined that I wouldn't want to be, if I do it, I don't want to be called like a porn star. Because, it's like, all these, I'm an artist, I bring my craft to whatever I do, so if it involves skull fucking someone, I want to do that very elegantly, and just like bring my passion as an artist to it. But a lot of these porn stars, they don't, a lot of the fake orgasms and stuff, and most of them, they don't give it, and I think I could give it based on the things I've done in my life. I'm kind of into a lot of things. I would consider myself like a born-again queer. Not born-again Christian, because, I kind of grew into that and then realized it's fake. But if you're religious here, it's okay. I don't judge. I only judge internally. But I respect you. I don't want to talk to you that much, but I'll respect you. Because like, I mean, I grew up with a lot of Christians and stuff. I'd go to the church retreats just so I could get high and be around people. Because they're cool people. I mean, like, they don't party. All the theater kids at my high school didn't party, so they love God too much. So I had to be around the hooligans who hated theater. So I was bullied a lot for that. But they smoked weed, so I just dealt with it. But these church retreats, I've been on, there's 2 different ones that I went on. There's the evangelical Christians ones, or the praying ones, like you'll see them, like, it looks like they're so close to coming in their pants, but they love God so much. So it's like, at least they're good at singing and stuff, and they play music. So I get down with that. I kind of just zone out there. But then you got the Catholics, and they have a thing called Kairos. Any of you heard of that? It's pretty much like a cult, I'd say. They take your phones, no watches, they blindfold you when you get there, and then there's candles everywhere, and they're like, live the 4th, they say. The 4th day is when you reborn as a new Christian. They get all the cool kids at the school to go because their parents, they go to the same church, so it's the main thing to do. It's pretty much just like a group therapy for people who don't want to go to group therapy, so it forces you to go. You're sleep deprived. You're just around a lot of people that like you have like a whole cross on your bed, so I really didn't like that. But I snuck my phone in, so it was nice. I just saw a lot of like people there that I didn't like. They're like the popular kids, Being a theater kid, them. They talk to you because they know you're smart, but they would never hang out with you. So they're just like admitting all the things that have happened in their life. One of them just like has eating disorder, been raped, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff here, and I'm just like, I do this normally, so this is like the only time they'll share everything. So they get so close. They wear this like weird metal waffle thing. I don't know. I still have it. I was debating melting it down into a swastika just for fun. That's how much I really don't care. Because I have friends that went with me, and they were very skeptical of it too. Because it's like pretty much hazing for Catholics is what happens there. So I go, I do it for fun. It's chill. Cry a lot, because you cry. I cry a lot. It's okay. But then they have you, like, they pretty much traumatize you because they have every parent write a letter about you, like how much they love and care for you. So after like 3 days of no sleep and just group therapy and just everyone like telling their life story, you just break down crying. So you have this connection to think that this, like, God did this to you. But no, it's just manipulating young kids to do that. But and then once after it's all done, for about a week or 2, you're all with your small groups at school. You're so close. You go and get lunch and breakfast and stuff together. And then after a week, it dies down because they go back to partying and fucking each other. So it doesn't really fix. It's more the idea of Christianity. It's okay. It's like not everyone, as long as like most people believe in it, it's okay. You'll be able to scare enough other people to just go along with it because they don't want to deal with it. So I've been working on my own religion for years. But I want to be a little different than everyone, I don't want it to be like just about one person. So I've named it Bensonism. It's my last name. It's not more about my name. It's just something cool, I would say. Like, people call me Benson. I don't know why. It's cooler than Ryan, I guess. So Bensonism. The one rule is you can do whatever the fuck you want. I really don't give a fuck. As long as you worship me. But in the end, I think I kind of want us to have like you have to wear a fez, I think. I want people wear fezzes and stuff because you got Pastafarians. You heard of them? There's this thing in California where if you say you want a religion, you can make it. So these people made something called Pastafarianism where they worship this giant pasta god in the sky. It gets you hungry a lot just thinking about it, but it's really cool. They wear colanders for their license photo because it's a religious hat, I guess. So I think a fez would be cool because it's already been culturally appropriated. What the Shriners are? No, they wear a fez. It's pretty much like as far as I know, Middle Eastern Turkish kind of group and club that has just been taken to America and embraced by a lot of white old men. But it's like, I know back home, right next to where the last shooting happened, where I'm from. So that's cool. But during the 4th of July parade, the other one that didn't get shot. So that one was okay. They have people that are wearing their fezes. They're wearing lawnmowers. They pretty much are like, it just looks like they're trying to be Arab. So I want to just do that, but make it okay. I'm gonna just say it's religious instead of them. They have a club. So anyone here like video games? Yeah, it's a good waste of time between jacking off and eating. It gets you by. I haven't been playing too much because it's been too much jacking off. It's hard to equal it out, but we're figuring it out. You can multitask if you're really good. There are some porn games though. You get in the ads. Some of them are pretty good. They say you won't last 10 minutes, and that's pretty bad advertising, I'd say, because you want people to play. You want to edge them out, so I think they got to work on that. But I grew up playing Call of Duty a lot. I would assume, it's acceptable where you can shoot people and you enjoy it. So it doesn't get school shooters because they just care more about their scores and yelling at their teammates. But the thing is, Call of Duty has managed to kind of like get two kind of main groups there, all men, of course, but you got hood black guys and really racist white guys there. So that's kind of how it goes for them. But I think like at this point in America, we have racism, police brutality, just tons of just different extremism, people fighting against each other. But Call of Duty, they've managed to find a way that everyone can equally say the N-word. So, we're getting close as a society to equality. Call of Duty, when you're shooting anyone, there's no race in there. You can pick your own color skin there. So, yeah, but, I've kind of noticed that. And what else do I want to talk about? I'll talk about my first MILF encounter. Debbie, she was the one who I let get away. I didn't want it anymore after the second time. I had to, first time I was like, try it one more time. This time we'll be sober. And then I randomly got a text like 2 weeks later from her. She's like, did we make a baby? I'm like, no, Debbie, we did not. Even if I came and you couldn't. But it's an experience because, I don't know, like you're with people that are your age, but then they have like their own apartment and stuff. It's so much easier. As a guy, it's so much work to like, if you want to hook up with someone, no matter what, you'll probably have to take them out for dinner and I'll be paying for it. I'll be driving. It's too much work. I'd rather, relax, really taken care of. It's, I might call them my mom from time to time, but it's okay. The one that I was with recently, I don't really remember her name, to be honest. That was like last week, but she wanted to role play and stuff. I was like, dope, and she was like, okay, I'll be your friend's younger sister, and I'm like, what? No, you're 53. This isn't gonna work well. Just say you're like an aunt or something, mother's friend. It's gonna be way much easier. But she had weed growing there, so that was cool to look at. I don't smoke anymore because I like it so much. Stay away from drugs, kids. They're just too good for you. Right. They're just really, really fun. Again, don't do them. But if you do, get lit. I've thought about there's the natural high, they say. That's when I've been in high school and stuff. They would all talk about having this good natural high. You don't need to do drugs and stuff. But I always thought about do those cool stuff, go mountain biking and stuff, but also smoke or do something. The two, a natural high and a synthetic high, are some of the best things you can get. So I'm just gonna put it out there. Do your own drugs, stay safe, and fuck some MILFs. My name's Ryan. Thank you for letting me talk for a bit. I know it's an iffy thing, but my Instagram is ryan.benson. If you ever want to find me for some reason, hit me up. I'll talk to you. I'll shoot the shit. Thank you.
Makes it happen. Without him, there are no tapes to be had. I mean, yeah, man. It's tough dating women, man. And for me, I got a big problem with the NAWs, and I'll say the N-word. Neurotic, all right? A neurotic Armenian woman. That's what you got to watch out for. And that's why, as you guys may have been reading my notebook, yes, I do feel for Kanye, okay? Because no one really knows what it's like to be with an Armenian woman. So I don't know, have you ladies ever dated an Armenian woman before? No. I want to leave it open. Eli?
Never, sorry.
Ryan? Not yet.
I don't think so. I don't ask, I fuck. Wait, no, that sounds even worse. I ask, but I don't ask. I'll, the other.
He asked for consent,
yes.
Everyone. But anyway, dating Armenian women, I'll tell you, it is something else, okay? They are just obviously, it just takes them forever to get ready. They'll be like, oh, does this dinner blouse look nice? Or how about these dinner skirt? I'll be like, how about the dinner reservation that's in 5 minutes? Don't you understand? We gotta go. But we fight all the time, obviously, about hair. That's kind of a big one. You know, it takes her 2 hours to get every hair off her chin, and like that just takes forever. I know, it's so rude. It's nasty, all right, I agree. But then when I shave, I drop some stubble on there, and she's like, "Oh my God, what is this? It looks like black pepper everywhere." And I'm like, this is not fair, because, you know, it's... And then why is that going in your nose? You know what I mean? And she's like, it's getting on the toothbrush. You know, you just got to be clean, and it's fair. I got to do a better job. I also got to do a better job hosting here. So we're going to just turn it over. I'm sorry. Just trying out new material here. But I want to bring on someone new to the studio. She brought a friend as well, which we always appreciate here at the LA School of Comedy. So I want to give a warm hand of applause for Zelandia.
Let's give it up for Ryan. My name is Zelandia. It's a Puerto Rican name. It means most beautiful of daughters that have been kissed by the ocean and blown by the sea. Oh, my mouth was high. Now, being Puerto Rican, one of my favorite food is called cuchifritos. Now, cuchifritos are pig ears. And you can't just go around ordering cuchifrito anywhere. I tried to order cuchifrito at Popeyes, and the man behind the counter said, "Hey, this ain't that kind of place." And there was a guy online. He said, "How much you charge for your cuchifritos?" I said, "What?" I got arrested for prostitution. I'm diabetic. I wasn't born with it. I got it after eating 1, 2 Snickers. All right, it was a whole box a day. So the doctor put the sensor on my body, so whenever my sugar is high, it would beep. It sounds like a truck backing up. Beep, beep, beep. But when my sugar is low, it vibrates. Guess which one I like? You remember back in the days we used to have those beepers in the 80s or 90s? It used to be my sugar daddy calling. Now it's my sugar level. So I have to be careful sometimes. It come in awkward times when I start beeping. Like I was on the 405 freeway and the cops pulled me over. They wanted to see my license and registration, and I started beeping. This fool called the bomb squad. Another time I was having sex with this guy, and my sensor went off, and he was like, "What is that noise?" I said, "The chicken's done." Now, my dad likes to drink a lot, and he went into Burger King, and he told them he wanted some rice and beans. And the guy said, "We don't have rice and beans here." Well, my father said, "What do you mean you ain't got no rice and beans? Let me talk to the manager. I want to see the manager. I want to see him now." The manager comes. "How can I help you, sir?" My father said, "I want some rice and beans." And the manager said, "We don't sell rice and beans. We don't have rice and beans here at Burger King." My father said, "All those Mexicans you have working in the kitchen and nobody can make no rice and beans?" Now my mom, I helped her get in the car. She almost fell, so I helped her get into the car. And this is in New York City. And everywhere we were driving, people was giving us the middle finger. I did the New York thing, I gave them back the middle finger. But everywhere we went, they were doing that, and I just do it right back. And we didn't understand why. Finally, when I got off the expressway, there's a car next to me. We stop at a red light, and he's looking at me, and he's giving me the finger, the middle finger. So I said, "Fuck you too." And then I rolled down my window. I said, "Why is everybody in New York giving me the middle finger for?" He said, your pocketbook is on top of the car." Now, when I was a little girl, I wanted to have a boy named Jason. I fell in love with that name when I was little. So when I grew up and got pregnant, I wanted to have a, boy named Jason, and the doctor actually told me to go in and have a C-section on Friday the 13th and have him. I was like, I'm not going in Friday the 13th and name my son no Jason. That's the only name I had picked out all my life for my son. Anyway, I didn't go in, but I talked to the baby to hang in there till tomorrow, and he did, and I got him for Valentine's Day. I actually had twins. I lost the other one at birth, but I was going to name him Freddie. Now, I wanted to be a nurse when I was younger, so I became a candy striper. And I used to make the nurses and the doctor laugh back then. But finally, they fired me because I was making a patient laugh so hard, but the problem was his jaw was wired shut. And then there was another time that there was a patient, he was in a coma. So I used to talk to him every day. Finally, I started telling him jokes, and he woke up. And I screamed, I said, ah! And he screamed, he said, ah! And I went into a coma. Now, I had a dream that a genie came to me and gave me 5 wishes. And I said, hey, ain't it supposed to be 3? And it was a Puerto Rican genie. So he said, sí, mija, pero tú tienes mucho programa. I'm going to have to bump it up to 10. My name is Salandia. Thank you. You can reach me at salandiacomedy.com.
You have an Instagram?
No. Well, just my name, Salandia Farrow.
That was fantastic. Landia, you're holding back. Acting like, oh, I never do this. You know, that's so good. Oh, my goodness. All right, we're going to keep it going. Very funny. Very funny. Now, I want you guys to put a hand together for your headliner, Miss Sarah Lee.
All right, let's keep the applause going. Headliner.
Give it up for Ryan,
Right.
New Yorker. So I tried quitting weed many times. It's always been really hard for me. And the only thing that got me to do it was the wrath of God. Like, God is like the only thing I'm afraid of. So I figured, okay, I used to be a children's leader for, church. So I thought, okay, if I teach children's Bible study while I'm high, I'd surely go to hell. So I'm going to hell. I took that land of Kush and the burning bush to a whole new level. But I finally quit smoking pot. Thank you. And one thing that disappointed me the most was I thought I would be really productive after I quit. But it was like I was not high, but I was just doing the same thing. I wasn't productive at all. So it was very disappointing. And it's hard dating in LA because it's always been easier for me to quit having sex than to stop smoking pot. And I think it's because, obviously I live in California. I found way better weed than dick. And don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of bad weed, but bad weed is just way better than a bad dick. And people always tell me, why don't you try online dating? And I'm like, well, what's my profile gonna say? Because I'm really honest, right? So I'm gonna say I don't have sex or suck dick, and I'm a Christian. I'm like a triple threat. Who's gonna swipe for that, right? I'll tell you who, a nun fucker. Like, that's right, because you're getting none, fucker. Oh, and people tell me, why don't you look for guys at church? I'm like, first of all, I'm not supposed to go to church to find dick. And Christian guys, they're not any better, right? Like, they're so judgmental, self-righteous, and sanctimonious, Republicans. And, what is it? Oh, and people always tell me, like, Sarah, you're not Christian. You curse all the time, and you have a dirty mind. And I'm like, well, first of all, we're all sinners. And wouldn't Jesus be pissed? Wouldn't God be pissed if he sent his only son, right? For me to not sin, right? He gave up his only son for me. And he meets you where you are, right? And some people say God is a woman, but I disagree. Because when God forgives, he just forgives. He doesn't bring it up over and over again. It's like, Sarah, remember 3 years ago? You're like, oh, Jesus, I thought you forgave me. So I found out my mom's not my mom. I know. It turns out that my dad's not my motherfucker. And she used to tell me all the time, like, how she never wanted to have me and my
Dad had to bribe her, so it kind of made sense. So I told her to go to hell, and like said, God frowns upon you or something like that. And right after the conversation about me telling her to die, she got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I know. I was like, now I'm the asshole. And then I did a DNA test, and it turns out she was my mom. I know. She just didn't want to have me. Like, she just decided to like breastfeed everyone but me. So I'm like, okay, you're still the asshole. And then as the last asshole move, out of all the days that she can die, she decided to die on my birthday. I know. I thought, what a bitch. No wonder you got cancer. You know how there's a day to celebrate everything, like bring your dogs to work day, or I don't know, there's everything, right? Secretary Day. And I thought there should be a day to celebrate saying no. So I have a hard time creating boundaries, right? And I remember the day I was finally like, no, fuck you, Dad. I gotta love myself too, And it's been 3 glorious years. And yeah, it should be celebrated. But now I say no to everything. I'll go to Costco. They'll be like, you want a sample? I'm like, no. Would you like fries with that? No. Would you like to stop children's hunger? No. But you should celebrate that. Oh, and you know who I hate? I hate people that brings their kids to a bar. Let me drink and curse in peace, right? Like, I can't do that with like stupid Timmy looking at me. That's your punishment for having kids. You stay home, right? And I also hate, so I ordered Instacart the other day, and I hate people who brings their kids to work because this guy brings his son. So I look out my window, and now this little kid is carrying like my 18-pack of water, like my 124 load Tide, and my 20-pound of jasmine rice, and I run out there, right? Because I feel like I'm running a sweatshop in Somalia, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, give it to me, right? So I get it out of his hand, and then I hand it over to the father. But who else do I hate? Oh yeah, old people. I hate old people in sports cars. There's nothing worse than the sound of V8 going 20 miles per hour. It's like, get the fuck out of the fast lane, you old fucking geezer. And don't get me wrong, I hate Asians too, every day. 5 o'clock on the 405, I'm like, die, you motherfucker, die. So my dog died recently, so this is Bruce Lee, and he had a brother named Bobby Lee. I know, and it was all of a sudden, good for him, horrible for me. I know, worst emotional support dog. Like, what do I do now? So he died, and white women, they say the craziest things sometimes. So I have this neighbor, and she was like, Sarah, when Bobby was alive, I would look into his eyes, and he would say, just tell my mommy to let me go. Like, what the fuck? like I said, he was totally healthy, and he passed away right away. So I thought, interesting, because I looked into your husband's eyes, and he said he wanted an anal. So maybe you should go home and let him fuck you up your ass. You stupid bitch. Oh yeah. On a last note, what is it? People also always say, Sarah, you're so cool. A lot of Asian people, they're not funny like you. They're not talkative and, so outgoing. I said, no, they all are. They're just really racist. Anyway, Sarah Lee, thank you. Oh, Bruce and Bobby Lee is my dog's Instagram.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah. That was lovely. And thanks for coming, Bruce. It's always such a pleasure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming to the LA School of Comedy. I know you have lives, so this is a nice break. But I wanted to say, just give yourself a round of applause. It was really funny tonight. Everyone brought it. Shells, welcome to the club. Congratulations on your first time. You're fantastic.
My cherry.
See, you're not celibate, are you? Anyway, thank you so much. This is the LA School of Comedy. If you're funny, if people tell you you're funny, come here because you probably are, and you need to keep it going. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, open mics. Just one more time, give a hand for your producer, Ryan.